Now I'd like to set the scene. Have you ever experienced it where you are working with somebody who is disruptive? Maybe there's a clique going on within your team. Maybe they're causing a little bit of gossip around a water cooler. Perhaps they're undermining. Perhaps they are not following the procedures that you want them to follow. Who's experienced this before? Yeah, it's very, very common. And as the leader, you struggle to know how to deal with it. What are you going to do? How do you nip this in the bud? Have you left it too long? Has it now become a culture? If it's become a culture, it's then a case of, what am I going to do? So this is something that I've started to notice with the businesses that I work with. The impact of this is phenomenal. It generally comes through in stress, and if you've ever heard any of the research, stress is one of the number one killers in the Western world. It turns up in many different ways. As the leader, as the CEO, as the exec, you'd end up doing the work yourself because you don't think that person can be trusted. That then radiates out through your team. You may even start to notice that people leave. They hand their notice in. So if you start to notice that you've got a high turnover of staff, there's very likelihood that you've got a problem within your leadership. Even more than that, it starts to impact you as an individual. You can't sleep. You worry about your own performance. You worry about your own KPIs. You worry about how you're going to be perceived by other people. Stress is an emotion. It radiates out from us. It infects other people. You might get home and start having arguments over nothing. Because you're working so hard, you're tired, you miss out on family opportunities like sports days and things like that. Then, let's throw COVID into the mix. The new normal. Does anybody know what the new normal looks like yet? No. So we have all of these problems going on for leaders in every element of our life. Now these stats are quite shocking. 14% of CEOs have leadership talent that will grow their business. Only 14%. And 10% of CEOs are natural leaders who guide their staff by example. Who would agree that one of the best forms of leadership is to see somebody out there doing it? Getting their hands dirty, yep, stepping up, being accountable. But what we're starting to see here is that the stats are showing that only 10% of execs have those skills. Now, as I mentioned at the start, I was in the Air Force, the Royal Air Force. This was me, 16 and a half years old. Yeah. And then this was me when I became a drill sergeant. So my original trade was communications. I served all over the world. And then I came to Wagga about 8 years ago on an exchange. And this was me doing the basic recruit training up at the RAF base. I love it. But one of the things I noticed when I started to become a basic recruit instructor was that the screaming and the shouting just will not cut it. So I don't care whether you're listening, you just bloody well get on and do it, right? What happens when I start talking like that? Up go all the brick walls. Oh, stuff you, I'm not doing that. This is what I started to notice in the military and also in civilian street. When I'm transitioned from the military into becoming a civilian, I couldn't bring this. Now, I've been studying human behaviour for over 15 years. And one of the things that I've discovered with human behaviour is if we can connect and we can understand and decode the human being that's in front of us, the human being that's within us, then we have understanding and we can come up with strategies. Now, the best way to be able to describe this is, has anybody here seen the film The Matrix? Yeah, a few of you? Cool. If you haven't, it's cool. I'm just going to give you a very quick crash course on The Matrix. So it's set in the future, and these are all ones and noughts. It's a bit like looking at computer code. It doesn't make any sense. And this is like human behaviour. If you don't understand human behaviour, it makes no sense at all. Now, in the film, the main character, Neo, bumps into a lady in red. And there's one scene in the film where he's standing there with this geeky dude, and the geeky dude's going, and Neo's going, what's this green stuff here? And the geeky dude says, oh, that's the matrix. Can you not see the lady in red? And he went, no, I can only see the green stuff. And he went, that's because you don't understand the matrix. You don't know how to read the matrix. Now, later on, as the film progresses, Neo is able to read the matrix and see the baddies. And ultimately, he's able to slow everything down so that he can start to make good, informed decisions. Now, this is what I do. I help you understand human behavior. I help you build your foundational leadership skills. Now, we've heard of the prophecy, if you build on sand, your building will fall down. If you build on rock, it will stand there forever. If you have good foundational skills around leadership, where you understand the human behavior, then you can build any leadership style you like upon that. I've come up with the 12 pillars of conscious leadership. Now, these are the skills I used when I was in the military, and I moved around all over the world, and I had to keep re-establishing, sometimes on a week-by-week basis, my leadership principles. And these are just some of them. We look at emotional intelligence, conflict resolution, the art of listening. Who here has ever been taught how to listen? Just one. One person in the room. We all get taught how to talk, don't we? We all get taught, don't use that language. Don't use that tone of voice with me. You know, don't say that. That's the wrong words. But we never get taught how to listen. The 7 elements of human evolution, how we move through things, how we move through problems, and changing, planning, implementation. The beauty of the 12 pillars is that it goes pillar by pillar. So I can break it down into 90 to 2-hour minute chunks. It's affordable because I'm here in Wagga. The businesses are here in Wagga. You get full support. You get me as a coach for the whole implementation period. And you get all the materials as well. Now, I can do this worldwide. These are some testimonials from people I've worked with in America, and I can do it here in Wagga. And very quickly, this is the results from my last training. 60% of people felt confident in the 12 pillars. By the end of it, they're out to 90%. It works. It makes a difference. So people buy into the leadership. They don't buy into the vision. You can have the best strategy, you can have the best plan, but unless you've got the leadership skills to be able to bring your team along with you, those strategies, those plans go for a ball of chalk. So if you're interested in what I do and you want to have a conversation with me, then either reach out via these methods or come and see me after this presentation and I'll give you one of my cards. Thank you very much.